Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining and welcome back to Wall Street Silver. Our guest today is my good friend Chris Vermeulen, Chief Market Strategist at technicaltraders.com. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Ivan. How are you?
Good. It's always great having you come on to talk to the whole Wall Street Silver crowd about gold, silver, everything happening in the markets. I really wanted to get you on to talk about gold. Gold is hitting new all-time highs, and people are really excited about it. There's lots of chatter about central banks buying tons of gold. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, gold, you look at the huge multi-decade cycle that has been going through in the chart patterns on the monthly chart, it is pointing to much higher pricing. I mean, when you look at the big picture, it's pointing to 2,700. If we look at the narrower price action, really of just since last October, the chart patterns on the daily chart are telling us about 2,250 to 2,300 here in the next really maybe the next couple of weeks, really.
Wow.
So it's a bullish picture where there's no doubt it's in a strong uptrend. It's in a bullish phase. Money's piling into it. We are seeing the silver and the miner section still struggle, which is a
Right.
little concerning. They should all be taking part. They all have had a very strong bounce, but they're definitely nowhere near breaking out and they're struggling. But I really like gold. I think gold is going to hit that 2250, 2300, and we're in a sweet spot for the precious metal space. We saw this in 2007, where we see precious metals and miners rally and become one of the leading sectors or asset classes as we go into a major stock market top. It's kind of one of those last moves. We're seeing all the big institutions, they're starting to move in. Countries are buying up gold. I think they see tough times ahead. So they're definitely stockpiling they're reserving their capital in a different currency, right? Not the
Right.
dollar.
So why do you think, Chris, the divergence so much for between the mining sector, silver sector to gold right now? Because usually silver and the miners would follow gold. Why do you think there's such a delay? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the delay is. I mean, I think crypto space has definitely pulled a lot of money out of it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
people are
yeah.
piling into crypto. So a lot of money I think is being used elsewhere.
Or
When
AI.
Yeah, or AI. So I think a lot of that more aggressive money that used to be going for silver and miners are attacking the crypto space. That's where the money's moving. So that's where the money, or that's what's moving. So the money's going to be chasing it over there. It's not going to sit around in the miner space that's been fairly dormant and choppy for the last year and a half, 2 years.
Right.
So that's kind of, I think, a big part of it. The other thing is gold is a global safe haven. It's To me, the miners and the silver space are more so, I might be wrong, but I think it's more so like a North American speculative play that Canadians, US are very active. We want to play those. Um, Whereas gold is different. Gold is that every country accumulates gold,
Yeah.
certain cultures accumulate it. And I find people who buy gold are generally people who are holding gold. They're not buying it for a quick trade. They're buying it to like store value and to hopefully maybe sell it at some crazy price way, way down the road. We're talking like 5, 10, 25 years from now.
Yeah.
So that's why I think gold keeps just going up and up, is because it's more so people buying it and then forgetting about it. And that's one of
Yeah.
the best ways for some investments like gold, I think, to that's how I trade it.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of chatter lately. A lot of our guests who's coming to Wall Street Silver will be talking about, the commercial real estate collapse right around the corner, or even the banks that are tied all their like massive investments and losses to these commercial real estate sectors. What do you think is going to happen there between now and 2025 in the commercial real estate, the asset side? And what can Powell do? Is he going to panic and just flood money into them to bail them out, or what do you think?
There'll probably be some hybrid blend of some new quantitative easing strategy.
Yeah,
And
probably.
I mean, not that long ago, the Fed had like no bullets in their gun to lower rates, and now they can shoot a machine gun off if they wanted to for a while. So
Right.
they've got a lot of bullets in the chamber. They got a lot that they could do. Of course, whenever the market and the economy gets into trouble, they seem to just come out and create something. I do think there's going to be very difficult time in the commercial space. We've already started to see this a little bit. I talked about this many, many months ago. Is I think we're going to start seeing some commercial space. It turns into more so. It also can open up to kind of residential. So some of these office spaces are turning into apartment buildings and with working spaces incorporated on certain floors and stuff. So I think we're going to see like a transformation potentially if we go into a big recession that the commercial space is going to struggle and they're going to realize most people like to work from home or a good chunk of people like to work from home. And so all that office space is either, it's going to go into foreclosure or they're
Right.
going to have to try and find a way to turn it into something that's usable. But it's going to be difficult on the banks. I mean, we've got high rates when mortgages come up for renew. Any new deals that go on are all at a high rate. Uh, it's going to be difficult. The banks are going to definitely start not getting paid for all these properties that they've got on their books.
Yeah, and recently, not even just this week, there was one bank in America that their stock price went from like 13 or $14, and by the end of trading day, it was like $1.50, and then it got bailed out by, and then it went up to $4. So like you can start to see the issues already happening. And then the first thing I seen from on the headline on that bank from the good old corporate media was the the bank stock went down by like 80 or 70%, but it's not a bank run, don't worry. That was literally the headline. It's like there's no
Yeah,
bank run, don't worry.
it's unbelievable. I remember when it was Silicon Valley Bank. I
Right.
swear it was like 2 weeks before that. The Fed came out. They're like, "We've stressed the banks are stress tests. We're all good. We're not going to have the same thing." And then in 48 hours, a bank literally goes under, and they have to like bail it out.
That's
They're literally
crazy.
throwing band-aids on these things so fast to make it seem like it's nothing. Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
just a little thing, a little thing. We'll fix it, no problem. Everybody's good. We'll pay you. The people who have money in that bank who literally would have lost it. The government's like, oh, we'll give you money back if you lose it. Uh,
Right.
Things are brittle, super brittle. I mean, it's human nature to over leverage, buy the house that's a little out of your league.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
stretch to you
yeah.
spend too much. The banks do the same. They take our money and then they go and they leverage it like 40 times.
Yeah.
And then they go and blow it all up and lose it. Hence, like the whole financial crisis last time, they just start selling off junk and driving up prices. And so
We're in the repeat.
yeah, it'll be different, but the same. Falling prices.
And but this like you can only kick the can down the road so long. I've been talking about that for like a month now. Like when like how long can they kick this can down the road? Like you just said, oh, they'll just reintroduce another quantitative easing or this bank funding term program that's up this month. They can just introduce another one or
Yeah.
rename it and call it something different and sneak it by the books or yeah, can they just keep it going forever, the circus? Or eventually
Well,
do they
they
have to go to
probably
crypt or eventually do they have to go to a new digital currency to just
yeah. I mean,
reset it?
yeah, I would think they could kick the can as far down as the road as they want. Eventually, the whole world and people will be like the U.S. I'm just picking on the U.S. The U.S.
Right.
is a joke. They just bail themselves out. They keep on going. They're just they're just kind of resetting and keeping things going.
Right.
Eventually, though, that'll catch up, and people will be like, "Well, it's a joke because they can't go under because they just print more money." That's when the currency, when the whole world goes, "This is ridiculous. Just do everything in the states because you get bailed out." That's when actually things will start to break. The currency will lose its value. Everybody will realize, it's probably not going to be a good investment, the dollar. And people have been talking about a dollar collapse forever. And I think it's
Yeah,
based
yeah.
around this whole theory of it's just keep throwing money out, patching things up and bailing people out and going into more debt. I mean, eventually it will catch up. And the
Right.
currency, I think, will probably be what gets hit really hard. Along with assets, I think it could, really hurt everything in the States. And the currency will be definitely the big one because it's obviously the global reserve currency. But when it starts to crumble and really tank, it could definitely change.
And that's probably why, because there's so many false data reports from the governments and underreported numbers for inflation. So that's probably why central banks are buying tons of gold right now, because they see the inevitable. Like, sure, you can kick the can down the road, but like what you said, only so far. So yeah, it's just crazy times. What do you see? What else are you seeing in the market other than just gold, silver, and the Fed? Because you have your book behind you, asset like revesting.
Revesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do there, and what other assets do you look at, Chris?
Yeah, so my focus with asset revesting, which is completely different than what most people do. Either you do the buy and hold, which is nothing, which is high risk, especially if we're going into a multi-year bear market, or you're a super active trader, which is extremely high risk. Almost everybody loses money being an active trader. Asset revesting is very focused on owning only one asset class at a time. We're trying to be in the best asset that's moving in the
Hmm.
direction we want. We don't believe in holding assets that are going down. So for example, we're long the equities market. We've been long this last move up since November. And when the stock market's not favorable, we move to a different asset class. Could be bonds, it could be the US dollar index, it could be an interest earning ETF where we're just sitting in cash. So, what I do that's really differently is because I don't believe in holding any asset that's going down, defeats the
Right.
point of investing, is I own one ETF at a time. We're either long the stock index or we're long a different currency. So when the stock market falls out of favor, we sell our ETF on the index, the US index, and we don't own any stocks at all. We actually move our money to a totally different asset. So we're only in the leading or the safest asset at any time
Right.
that's moving up. And most people diversify. They buy stocks of all sorts and kinds. And they think they're diversified, having all these different stocks. But the stock market is like the ocean. When the tide goes down, pretty much all stocks go down as well. Some go down a lot faster than others don't. But I don't believe in holding a whole basket of stocks that are all going down. I'd rather just step out, move to something different that's going up, even if it's only to earn a couple percent over the next month or two, then lose, a whole whack. So that's what asset
Hmm.
revesting is reinvesting our capital into whatever asset is the safest and has a solid trend at any given time.
Are you guys in gold, of course, or no?
Not with that strategy,
Oh,
but
not with
we
that
are in gold
strategy.
with our shorter term, like momentum swing trading strategies over at the Gold and Oil Guy
Okay.
service that I run. Yeah,
Okay, that's pretty cool. Do you personally buy gold, Chris? Like any physical gold or silver, or
I do. Yeah, I
are
just
you a
buy.
stacker?
I am. I am a big stacker. I love it. Gold and silver physical only. I don't buy the ETFs or anything like that.
Oh, interesting. That's pretty awesome. It's such a great pleasure having you come down to Wall Street Silver, Chris. Every time you come down, we gain a wealth of knowledge, especially what's happening on the markets. And b before you go, do you see Powell doing a rate decrease within the next month, 2 months? So, like, what's your time frame? Do you think his next move is?
Yeah, I don't follow news too much, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I
Right.
think unless we have a huge collapse like in the stock market where all the top wealthy people get hit the hardest and suddenly the pressure's on them, the higher powers are saying cut rates, keep the market up.
It
But
probably could
for
happen.
Yeah, it happens. So we need blood in the streets. We need
Uh,
collapsing pricing. We need a lot of pain. And then they'll start firing off quarter basis points. And once that tide turns, I think the bond market will be an incredible play. I think we could see like TLT, which is the long-term treasury bond, do very well. But if anything, I think late this year, maybe they cut rates. I think it's
yeah.
a long ways out.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's such a huge pleasure having you come down to Wall Street Silver, Chris. And hopefully in the future, we'd love to have you back on to talk about the markets.
Sounds great, Ivan. Always a pleasure.
Talk to you soon.